Hi. Today, in, in week 4 and 5, we are learning about Amazon S3 service. S3 service is much important service in AWS. What is AWS S3 service? S3 is known as simple storage service, is scalable object storage service. Why is S3 compute important in cloud computing? It is highly durable. It scales automatically with usage, integrated with AWS services like Lambda, CloudWatch, etc. Supports versioning, event notifications, lifecycle policies. S3 basics and bucket operations. Explore real world use cases of S3. We can create multiple S3 buckets. In buckets, there would be policies and ALCAS. And we can use through console managing access and storage settings. In AWS CLI, it can integrate with S3, AWS S3 LS, AWS S3 CP, AWS S3 Sync. We can come upload and sync files between local and cloud. Object versioning in S3. Object versioning means here we can delete, restore, upload, and save files with different versions we can create in S3 versioning. Lifecycle management. Lifecycle rules for automatic transition, move data to Glacier after few days, set up expiration rules, helps reduce manual cleanup. S3 event notifications. It can integrate with AWS Lambda, triggered Lambda functions on new object upload, verified output in CloudWatch logs. In week 5, in week 4 we covered these topics, explored what Amazon S3 and why it is used in real world scenarios. It will understand S3 support secure, scalable, and durable storages. Bucket operations. Set up multiple S3 buckets and configured them with AWS Management Console. Applied access permission using bucket policies and access control lists. ACLs means access control list. AWS CLI with S3. Practiced using AWS CLI to manage S3 resources efficiently. Used AWS S3 to list buckets and contents. Transferred files using S3 CP between local and cloud. Used S3 to synchronize entire directories in S3 buckets. These are the topics and things which I covered in week 4, and in week 5 I worked on S3 versioning, lifecycle management for S3, notification for S3 events. To preserve the history of object changes, here we can upload, delete, and restore we can aid through S3 versioning. In lifecycle management, we can move files to Glacier after a predetermined number of days. Predetermined number of days was 30. Here we have to out of data automatically notifications of S3 events. Using AWS console, we need to connect S3 to Lambda to process files in real time. That uploaded files and check Lambda invocation logs to test the integration. These are the topics in the reports and presentation which I have covered in week 4 and week 5.